Hi guys, and welcome back to another Halloween tutorial. This look will be a werewolf that has been attacked. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm starting off by priming my face to create a smooth canvas. Next, I'm going to take the Elmer's glue stick to help me lay down my brows to conceal them, as we're going to give ourselves a new brow shape. I am using a spatula to apply the glue, and then I'm using the spoolie to brush the brows going in a upwards direction. Before I add the concealer, I'm using a translucent powder to set the glue. This part is very important because it's also going to help you set the glue and it's not going to become harsh in a way. And for that powder, I'm using the Urban Decay translucent powder. To conceal them, I'm using the Boo Boo Cover Up concealer and then setting it again with powder, and I'm doing this between coats, so I actually did 2 coats. To outline the new brow shape, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade in the shade Caramel. And I'm pretty much just going on, like taking a straight line across from like the beginning of the brow and going across my arch, and then just finishing it out in an angle kind of way. Brows to be darker, so I'm using the dark brown shade out of the Poppy Cheek palette by Tarte. Then I'm taking some of that Boo Boo concealer to clean and finish shaping them. For a shadow base, I'm going into the Rouge, which is the NYX shadow base in nude, and then setting that with the translucent powder. I'm going to take Puree from the Too Faced Peach palette and placing that on the crease and flicking that upwards and out to kind of define the eye and give me an elongated eye shape. The next color I'm using is Summer Yum from the same palette, and I'm just going to start defining that crease. I'm going for a cut crease type of look, so I am using the dark brown shadow from the Poppy Cheek palette to cut the crease. Then I'm going back with the same brush that I used with Summer Yum to diffuse and blend the colors together. Now to really define that crease and to cut it, I'm cleaning it up with a small concealer brush and some of the concealer that I had left over from when we would conceal the brows. For the lid, I'm using the color Dubai from the Huda Beauty palette. Honestly, I love the foil shadows from this palette, so I've gone a little crazy using them. I'm going to use my finger first to apply to the majority of the eye, and then I will go in with a small defined brush to get closer to the crease and the inner and outer corner. For the brow bone, I went back to the Peach palette and selected one of the nude colors. I forgot the name of it, but it's one of the nude light colors, and I'm placing that to my brow bone to finish out the look. Moving into the face, I'm using Milani Foundation 2-in-1 in the shade Medium Beige. I went ahead and lined and applied the falsies off camera to save some time, but the lashes that I'm using are the Ardell Wispies on top of the lash extensions that I already have. To highlight, I'm using, of course, Tarte Shape tape in medium light. This is a definite staple for me. I love this concealer. I'm going under the eyes, the forehead, the chin, and the nose. I let it sit on the nose a bit because I wanted to stand out more than the rest of the face. So I figured that if you let it sit longer, it kind of settles in your nose or the area where you want to highlight. So when you blend it out, you can still see that defined line. To set that concealer, I'm using the same translucent powder by Urban Decay. To contour, I'm using the LA Color Concealer in the shade Dark Cocoa, or I think it may be Espresso. This is also going to serve me as a base for the dark shadow that we will be applying later. So I'm going to use MAC Give Me Sun. Yes, we kind of had a death in the family, so that is why she looks all patched up and kind of funny looking. Next, I'm using a Too Faced bronzer in the shade Medium Dark, and it's the Chocolate Soleil one. I think it's medium brown. The name kind of faded off the back of the bronzer. And to really deepen that contour and add the Widow's Peak, I'm using the darkest brown from the Poppy Cheek palette. I use the same brown shadow to smoke out the bottom lash line. For the lower lashes, I use Urban Decay Perversion Mascara. To finish the brows, I drew on some longer brow hairs using the same brow shadow and just kind of started flicking it upwards and diagonal to create little longer hairs in the same shape of the eyebrow. I'm adding hair or fur to the face using the same brown shadow and pretty much just using a dragging motion to create hair-like lines, then doing some X shapes to add a bit of definition. To contour the nose, I use a Too Faced bronzer, and for the tip of the nose, I use the dark brown shadow. I decided to add more definitions to the hairline, so I'm going back in with the black gel liner and doing soft hair-like strokes to the face, the eyebrows, and I decided to also do it to the nose as well. Alright, it's lip time now. So I used the NYX lip palette and I used the darkest shade and then popped the nude one in the center of the lips to create somewhat of an ombre look. This wouldn't be a finished look without some highlight. So for this look, I'm using the Champagne Pop by Becca on the cheekbones, the bridge of the nose, and the inner tear duct. Now it's time to add some gore to this look. To create the scratches, I'm using liquid latex, and I'm starting to map out where I want to create them. Then I'm using tissue to apply on top of the first layer of latex and then going over the tissue with more latex. I will repeat the same step for all the scratches. Once the latex has dried, I use some scissors to carefully rip the latex and pull it apart with my fingers. Just be careful with the steps. I kind of poked myself a couple of times there near the eyelid, so just be cautious. I'm applying foundation to the wound areas to have it match my face. Next, I'm using the Ben Nye bruising wheel, and I'm not going to create bruises because I want the appearance of a fresh wound, so I'm only using the 2 reds in the wheel. Next, I'm adding some black in the inner part to add some depth to the wound. First, I'm going to add some of the Thick Blood by Ben Nye to all the wounds. And lastly, add your fresh blood. I'm using Cinema Secrets FX blood, and just pretty much stippling that all over the wounds, the inside and like the outside, to create some a natural splatter of blood. Now you're ready to go howl at the moon. I hope you guys enjoyed this look, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, bye.